Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 1st. It is 6:21 right now. Market's gonna open in about 9 minutes. Happy first of the month, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and set this room real quick and we'll get started shortly. So just a few things here to update and we should be good to go. Man, it's crazy. This year is flying by. We're halfway through the year, guys. Hopefully everyone's doing good, trading wise, overall wise, everything. That's crazy. This year's just really flying by. It's been a pretty good year though so far. Couple things here to update. Let's see. That's good. Get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And we should be good to go. That's good. All right, perfect. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 1st. Happy first of the month to everyone. It is 6:23 right now. Market's gonna open in about 7 minutes. I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in, and then we'll get started shortly with the analysis for today. Hey, Aziz, how's it going? Morning. Morning, Satya. Morning, T. Nick's asking, how's your trading week been so far? I mean, you've been here, right, Nick? I haven't taken any trades. So, you've been here every day, right? I haven't taken anything. I mean, it's been pretty flat. Yesterday, I missed the trades. There was a couple trades that came up. I even analyzed and I mentioned that, the liquidity was going to play out yesterday, but I didn't take it because it wasn't, I wasn't paying attention, unfortunately. So I missed it, but no, I haven't taken any trades. So, I mean, the week's been great. I haven't had any losses. Yes, every week's great, guys. Like every week is what you make out of it, right? If you think you're having a shitty week, then you're having a shitty week, and that's your fault. But every week is always a good week for me. Whether I'm winning, losing, not taking any trades, you just have to come with a proper mindset every day when you're trading. You can't always ask like, "How's your week going?" Right? Because if you ask someone how the week's going, it's just whatever however they perceive it. If my week was not good, I wouldn't be here on the live session, right? But that's why I stay positive, optimistic, no matter what. And I think that's how you guys should be too. Every day should be the same for you guys. There should be no change with how you guys feel, as each day progresses. The trading is just trading, guys. It's like you can't really have your emotions change like if you haven't had any trades or anything like that. Like for me, I'm actually glad that I haven't taken any trades, because if I did take some trades, I probably I'd be in profit. Because if I did take every liquidity push from this week, I probably would have lost Tuesday if we entered that one right away that I mentioned to skip. And then yesterday I would have I either would have lost the first one, and then I probably would have made it back on the next one like a lot of people did. But I'm pretty much flat, so I'm good. Gotcha. Nick said that's what I thought. I've been popping off the live around 7-ish. Yeah, no, the market in general, if the market's pretty crappy in the morning, Nick, I'm usually not going to be forcing anything in the end. So if you're on until 7 and I'm saying that the market sucks, market price sucks, and I'm probably just going to sit around. So yeah, no, overall trading week's been all right for me. it's been good because I haven't had any losses. But overall, I don't really have like people ask me that question every day. How's business? How's life? How's trading? And it's always the same answer. It's like same old. I don't really have like I could have a great week. Like last week I had like a pretty good trading week, and I still told everybody I had an okay week. And that's the way that you guys have to go about it. You guys should like definitely never get too emotional about having like a crazy good week or having a crazy bad week. Because if you do that, you'll just have consistency to do the same thing every week. And that's what I do. So just advice to you guys if like you guys wonder how you guys should handle trading. Because like for me, I could have a good week, a good day, good day, bad day, good week, bad week, good month, bad month, and I'm still gonna say the same thing. I'm still gonna feel the same way. So guys, today is June 1st. Let me see if there's any pre-market news. There was news over here at 4:30, 4:30, 5:15. There's actually a lot of news today pre-market. So 4:30 over here. Gonna mark all this stuff up real quick before everyone gets in. 4:30. Yeah, exactly, Nick. Because I feel like that's why like a lot of people when they trade, they have a lot of ups and downs because they're just too they're too concerned about like how their emotions are, right? Like they get too excited and then they have a crappy week and they're like, oh crap, like my trading sucks. But if you just don't care about trade, I think the main thing is just not caring about the profits. If you care about winning, then that's a different thing. But if you care about profits too much, because I hate when people ask me like, oh, how much did you make? How much did you make this week? Or how much did you make today? Like, bro, it doesn't matter. I made money, right? That's all that matters. If you guys could just focus on just winning and not really the profits or anything like that, it'll open up so much opportunity for you because you're not going to be so like drilled in on like making X amount of profit per day. Sorry, we have news over here at 6:30, or sorry, 6:45, final manufacturing PMI. 7 o'clock, we have ISM manufacturing PMI, high impact. Got a lot of news coming right here. Right after open. All right, market's gonna open in about 2 minutes, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark up. All right, 7:30. There's a lot of news today, actually. Ton of news today. 7:30. 8 o'clock. Geez, so much news today. 6:30, 7:30. Okay, I got all the news marked up. All right, let's quickly go and mark up liquidity. I got like 30 seconds. I'm gonna go from the daily and I'm gonna go up from there. So I don't miss this. Sorry, guys. Kind of got a little sidetracked over here at the questions and stuff. So I'm just gonna mark it the nearest liquidity. I don't really care for like the other ones. Not really necessary. This price is probably not gonna get to those points. All right, guys, market is now open. Let's see if like what you gets hit today. So I'm just marking up the nearest liquidity, and I doubt like a lot of these other levels are going to get hit, so it's not a big deal. All right, let's go back to the 1 minute. All right, so price is dropping down right here to this area. This is going to be the first level of liquidity. As I mentioned yesterday, guys, you probably don't want to get in on the first touch. Maybe get in on the next touch because it's probably going to retrace like it did yesterday. And then get in later. If you want to get in like for partial, you can get in for partial too. But the one day that I don't get in right away, it blasts right through the TP. Yeah, let me see if I can get in for partial right here. Perfect. So I got in for 100 pips, guys. I didn't get in for the full move. Got in for 100 pips right there. The one day that I don't get in on fucking open, this thing blasts right through TP. I still took it though. I took it for a partial, like I mentioned. I was gonna get in for a little bit. I got in for 100 pips. I locked in 2,000 off that trade. What are the fucking odds, right? What are the odds that the one day that we decide to follow whatever is going on this week, and it goes right through to TP. Well, I mean, it's all good. I'll send you guys my profits. First trade for the day. Yeah, this market hates us this week, but it's okay. Looks like a lot of you guys here locked in some profits off it too. I just locked in 100 pips. I was like, I was gonna risk it. Locked in 100 pips off that. That would have been a nice entry though. I just didn't want it to hit like how it did the past couple days. You guys remembered on Tuesday, same thing happened. Price came initially, hit the low, came back up, then it came right back down. It did the same thing yesterday, and I thought the same thing was going to happen today. But again, there's a lot of news that happened pre-market today. It's not like the other days where there's no news until like open, or no important news till open. We had a lot of high impact news pre-market over here. So you guys can see over here, initial job claims, it was negative. So people just hopped on, like people basically bandwagoned onto the moves. You can see over here, 5:30, it was negative news. 5:30 over here, negative news. 5:15, it was all negative news today. So a lot of this push right here happened. It was just a late reaction to the news event from right here that happened pre-market. So market open, everyone knew that it was negative news. Everyone just kind of hopped onto those sells. And that's why price pushed down like it did here. So, you know, there's going to be some days where it's going to blast right through, some days where it doesn't. I wouldn't recommend chasing this anymore. It's a bit overextended. So if you measure it from this area here to here, it's pushed down about 1,600 pips. So next level of liquidity got hit as well. I'm not going to count this one out. Only counting the first one because I took that for profit. So nice. Kenneth actually got that one too. Kenneth caught it for 100. So Kenneth caught the second liquidity for 100 pips. Angela got the first move with us up here. Van Harwijk's hit Murphy's Law. Natasha got it. Sisu caught it. Nice, solid. Morning, Hussein. Morning, Essa. Morning, Seren. Morning, iPhone. Morning, Raul. Morning, Maria. Morning, Camo. Morning, Rick. Dan said, does anyone listen to Bone Thugs on the first of the month, or is it just me? I was literally just listening to that when I woke up, Dan. First thing I played when I woke up when I got ready this morning. Morning, Andrew. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Johnny. Morning, CJ. Morning, Essa. Morning, everybody. All right, guys. So solid move right there. It looks like a lot of you guys here caught it. If you guys have profits to post up, feel free to send them in. I'm going to go ahead and post up my profits as well. I didn't get the full 300 pips, but I did make pretty good profit on this first trade for first official trade for this week. Thankfully, I finally locked something in. I'll go through a dry spell, but luckily no losses. So I think that's the main key here. So anyways, let me just post this up real quick. I'll take a screenshot of my profits. And if you guys have profit to post up, feel free to send them in. You know, again, like I mentioned before, guys, you guys should, I know some of you guys are kind of like shy to post up your profits, but posting up your profits aren't necessarily to show off. It's more so to keep you accountable. So, you know, if you have a loss or if you have a win, it keeps you accountable so you don't keep making mistakes. And if you keep winning, you know, your confidence is going to continue to grow and you're going to want to keep taking more trades. So, I mean, the key thing with trading is really having confidence in your trading. And if you continually post profits, you know, you're going to feel confident. And then tomorrow you're going to feel even better and you're not going to be scared to take trades. So if you guys have profits, feel free to send them in. If you guys took a loss, send in your loss. It's not a big deal. It'll keep you accountable so that you guys will understand, you know, how this market will treat you. Because if you just keep sweeping it under the rug, like if you make wins, but you don't celebrate them, like even a little bit, you're not going to feel confident tomorrow. And then if you keep taking losses and you don't share them, you're just going to keep taking losses and you're going to think it's whatever type thing. So yeah, showing your profits are not to show off to anybody. It's more so just to keep you guys accountable. So a couple of profits over here from, let's see, we got Rick over here, total profit of 250 for the day. Nice work, Rick. All wins. So Rick over here locked in 250 for the day, 3 trades. Dave over here locked in 54 for the day. So guys, as you guys can see, it doesn't matter if you make big profit, little profit, profit's profit. Dave over here locked in 54 and he's been pretty consistent every day. So every day Dave's been posting his profits, you know, his wins and his losses, and he's been doing pretty solid, overall profitable for this week so far. Maria over here, total profit of 240 for the day. She took the sell right there. Nice work, Maria. Took the second entry, full TP. 240 right there with Maria. See, Sam over here is currently at a break-even day, currently in profit 107 for the day. Nice work, Sam. Sam, aka Barney. Nice work, Barney. We got Nathan over here. Nathan said missed the first liquidity, but he got the second one and he's done for the day. So right here, he took the second trade, total profit of 1,220 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Nathan. So you guys are killing it. Great work, guys, with these wins right here. We've got Natasha over here. She said she's limiting herself to 1 or 2 trades a day, which is smart. Total profit of 345 for the day. Nice work, Natasha. All wins. We got S over here. It's got some slippage. Got 71 on the first trade, negative 40 on the second one. It's okay. It happens, Essa. You just need one more trade and you'll bounce back from that. We have Kenneth over here. Full TP on that liquidity push. Total profit of 960 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Kenneth. I'm looking at the chart, guys. Don't worry. I'm not missing out on anything today. Right here, you can see there was a high-level momentum scalp that was setting up, but it did not close above pivot 2. So no entry here for a high-level momentum scalp. So don't worry, guys. We're not missing out on anything. I'm still focused on the charts, but I am looking over everyone's profits here. We got Andrew over here. Andrew said smooth move this time, did a tester trade since he's in hotel Wi-Fi. Yeah, Andrew's over here traveling and trading. Total profit of 1,410, basically all wins. This was a tester trade. You can tell it's a buy. It's for a 0.01. So took this trade over here. This was the official trade. Total profit of 1,410 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Andrew. Hopefully your vacation is going well over there in Seattle, man. I wonder how the weather's out there right now because it's still cold out here. And here are my profits. I'll take individual screenshots of my profits so far. And then we'll, so I took the screenshot of all my profits and I'll take my individual ones right now. There's a V1 variation that's setting up right here. Not one that I necessarily would take, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. It's kind of too big anyways. So I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm not going to take this trade here. V1 variation right there. And then we have Martha over here as well. See, Martha locked in a total profit of 2,010 for the day. Nice work, Martha. All wins. All right, great work, guys. So you guys did pretty good so far. Anything over here? Let's see what else we got over here. So let's post up the profits so far. So pretty solid day, guys, with our training so far. Let me see what this looks like. This is my FMF. All right, so there goes the V1 variation, guys. It already hit full TP. I don't know if anybody took it, but as I mentioned, there's a V1 variation coming up right there. You guys can see double body rejection. Went straight to TP right there. So if you guys took it, great. If you guys didn't, that's okay. I mean, I didn't take it. I wasn't even planning on taking it. The candle was too big. So let's see. Take the individual profits here. So today's all right. We had one good trade. I mean, this is a regular day for us. It's not like anything crazy happened today. It's just one trade. But we are finally out of this rut, the official trades for this week. So now we are back to looking for the next trade. So, all right, I took the screenshots of my profits here and we're on to the next one. So we'll see if we find another one here. If not, it's all good. But there are no entries at the moment. No, there's no higher high. I was looking to see if that was going to be a sell for a high low momentum scalp, but there's no higher high there. All right, so here are the individual profits across all my accounts. So here's my main account. You guys can see the green strip, total profit of 2,020 for the day. all wins. Here's my second FTMO. Got some slippage there in my favor. Total profit of 2,820 off that trade, all wins. Here's my MFF number 1, locked in 1,060. MFF number 2, 1,060. And my MFF number 3, 1,060 as well. So that's pretty much all my profits so far. All right. All right, let's see the chat real quick. Nice. CJ said he got the second move for a partial. Andrew said keeps bouncing around this price squeeze. 3 minutes till news. We got news coming up right now. That's probably why price is bouncing around and squeezing right here, Andrew, because it's probably going to move once we get to price news right here at 6:45. So that's kind of why it's bouncing around. Nobody's really looking for direction right now. We'll see how price reacts when the news happens right here at 6:45. Here, let me scroll up real quick. Brian said, made 300 on my regular account with that trade. It's about time I joined your group. Do you have strictly mentor subscription? I've been making money just from your guidance. So I mean, there's 2 different options that you have, Brian. Like either you can have access to, all of my strategies and my indicators and stuff like that, and then access to the live session. So like you can either get access to the live session only, or you can have access to the strategies and the indicators. So you basically have 2 different options. If you guys go on the website, kodikaitrades.com, click on one of these 2 right here, either live trading room or strategies. Strategies includes everything. The trading room is just a trading room. So we don't necessarily have like one that's strictly for mentorship. The mentorship is just going to fall under strategies, because you can't really get mentored for my strategies unless you have like my indicators and my strategies, because I trade a very specific way. So like you would need to have the tools to trade this way. I mean, you can trade, just follow me on these live sessions, but if you want the full potential, like if you want to be making, trades all throughout the day, then you would obviously need the indicators and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you'll get mentorship through the strategies. That's how it would work out for the most part. Scrolling down over here. So let's see, FFS said, didn't you say you should be emotionless, whether it's a good day or a bad day? Yeah, I mean, you should, but you should not, like, you still got to celebrate your wins, right? You can't be like, you celebrate your win, then you go back to normal. If I was to win that trade, like we all won this trade here, and I was monotone, like, oh, this sucks. I can't believe we won a trade. Like, what kind of trading group is that to be in, right? Or well, how are you going to feel confident about the next trade if you're not like celebrating your wins? Yeah, you're supposed to be emotionless for the day, but if you're winning a trade, you should feel good about it. But after you're done feeling good about it, you move on and then you go back to being normal. Being emotionless doesn't mean that you have to be monotone like through every trade. You still have to be emotional overall for the day, but you can still be happy, like when you take the first trade, or you take the whatever trade that you have, and then you go back to being normal after that. You go back to being neutral. You can't win a trade, be super happy, and then be super happy throughout the whole day. Because if you do that, then you're going to take dumb trades, right? You're going to revenge trade, you're going to overtrade. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys, dogs are barking. So yeah, back what I was saying, guys, like, when I said earlier about being emotionless, like, it doesn't mean to be literally emotionless. Like, yeah, you should be emotionless after each trade and then go back to normal, but not necessarily, you don't have to like be super emotionless throughout the day. Because if you're that way, you're probably not going to do good trading at all. Because you're not going to feel confident about anything if you're emotional. If you're literally emotionless, you're not going to feel confident about anything. You're not going to feel confident about yourself, your trading. I just marked up opening price right here, guys. So the things that I say, guys, don't take it literal. Like, I don't know, like how else to put it. So this is New York open price. I'm just gonna keep this in mind just in case price comes back, because if price does retrace back to the upside, right here. So if price does push back to the upside, this is where it's going to touch to. If it doesn't, it's probably going to keep dropping lower. Main thing to look for would be, there's basically two different price areas here to look for. So if price shoots up, price point to get tested is either going to be the sessions or opening price right there. And then if price comes down, next area for it to be tested is going to be the sessions right there. A couple of areas to look out for. There's no entries for us right now. I'm also going to mark a news price right here, which came up at 645. So there goes the news price right there. I'm going to mark it pink. I'm going to take this off. So basically all of these horizontal lines right here, pink line, blue lines, purple lines, green lines, red lines up here, these are areas of manipulation. They're just price points where something happened. Like pink is going to be news price. Red, green, purple is going to be previous session high lows. Blue is going to be opening price. And then I'll put zones over here at the nearest lower lows and higher highs that you guys can identify where the range is going from. But there's no entries over here right now. Let's see, FFS, for fuck's sake, is that your name? It's fitting. So he said, but you sounded ticked off when someone asked you if you had a good week. That's because it was Nick. So if you're you're new to the group, I'm assuming Nick was asking that question. And Nick asked a lot of questions sometimes where I'm just like, it's kind of like he knows how my week was going. I was responding to him directly, not specifically how the question was. I was responding to Nick because Nick knows how my week's going. So I'm like, Nick, you're asking me a question, but I've been talking all week how my week's going. I told you I haven't taken any trades. So that's the specific response to Nick. And we all love Nick here. I'm just messing with Nick. But Nick kind of asked me an obvious question. So that's why I kind of sounded that way. It wasn't necessarily, if you asked me how my trading week was going, I would tell you it's cool. But Nick asked me the specific question, and I talk to Nick every day. So I'm like, Nick, you know how my week's going. Why are you asking me this question? So that's why it sounded that way. Nick's not a normal person. He's like he's been in the group. He's been here for a while. I was just responding to Nick on a personal level. Yeah, Nick's probably off. Are you still on here, Nick? Yeah, no, because Nick talks to me we talk all the time. So like when he asks me a question like that, like a really obvious question, I might sound ticked off, but I'm not really ticked off. I'm kind of like, bro, you're really asking me this question? Yeah, no, it's all good at FFS. You're cool. Anyways, back to the charts over here. Yeah, no, Nick's here. Yeah, no, Nick just wanted to make sure because I didn't realize he was getting off the live sessions at 7 o'clock every day. But like he's on here every day. It's just I thought Nick was just being like smart with me because it was kind of annoying that we haven't taken trades on like Tuesday and Wednesday. And I'm like, yeah, obviously I haven't taken any trades, but I was just responding to him directly. Anyways, guys, back to the charts here. There's nothing for us to take right now. Closest area of liquidity is going to be down here at 32,734 around this area. And here is the main chart. So there's two strategies that we're applying here. I saw your question earlier, Natasha. So Natasha was asking me if I'm only taking the liquidity pushes on open. So that's not the only trade I'm taking. I'm taking liquidity pushes on open, and then I'm also taking the high level momentum scalp. So just two main strategies here. Natasha, you've been here for a while, so you know like there's a lot of other strategies that we have. I have like 30 different strategies to apply, over 30 strategies actually. But I'm only applying these two. So I'm applying the high-low momentum scalp, which is basically we're looking for higher highs or lower lows. We're identifying tops and bottoms, and then we're looking for a reversal from that point. So just two strategies: high-low momentum scalp and basically liquidity push. I typically only take the first liquidity push. If the market's really strong in one direction, then I might take a future or a later liquidity push, because there's a liquidity push right here that's setting up. So I'll take a look at the overall bias. If it's very bearish, then maybe I'll be interested in taking this for 100 pips. However, I'm not going to be too dialed in on taking something like that, because typically these trades are a little more risky because price is overextended. The thing that I do like here is that price is ranging a bit. So if price does come back down to this area, I might want to take it. So basically, if price was just going straight down, like if it went straight down like this, retraced and came back down, I wouldn't have taken the trade. But as you can see over here from this area, it's not a smooth move down, right? It's a very back and forth movement. I actually like when market moves like this. So price is going up, down, etc. And then when it gets down to this point, odds of it pushing down to hit TP is very likely. So when you have a messy market like this, I actually like taking liquidity pushes because it's going to be enough of a push to reach its its full TP. So if this comes down right here, I'll follow it. We'll look for any possible opportunities here for entry. But at the moment, I need to take a look at the overall bias. So let's do that right now. Let's start off by looking at the fundamentals right now. Fundamentals are currently down 177 points. In order for us to have a strong fundamental bias for a sell, we need this to be below 100 points and consistently below there. As you guys can see right here, it's currently down 177 points. So this indicates that we have a strong bearish fundamental bias. This is a very basic way of identifying it. There's obviously, you can look at individual stocks and stuff like that to see, but this number here is going to indicate that we are in a bearish bias with regard to fundamentals. Next up, I'm going to look at retail sentiment over here. Retail sentiment is currently 62% long. This indicates that 62% of retail traders are currently buying right now. As you guys know, majority of traders in the market are not good. Like majority of retail traders lose. So if majority of retail traders are currently buying, I want to do the opposite and sell. So retail sentiment right now is indicating for me to take a sell. So this is indicating to take a sell. This is indicating to take a sell. And then lastly, I'm going to look over here at the technicals. The technicals here are all bearish, as you can see right here. Prices below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. This indicates that we're in a very strong sell bias right now. So if price does come down to this area, I may be okay with taking the sell here. But again, you want to make sure that price is actually moving in that direction and it's a smooth move. So I'll let you know if I take the trade. I got to think about it because the volatility here is kind of low. We also have news coming up here at 7 o'clock. So that's another thing that I want to be very careful for. I don't want to take a trade and then price goes flat and then all of a sudden news happens at 7 o'clock and this thing spikes to the upside and stops me out, right? So there's a couple different factors here indicating why we should take the trade. Very strong sell bias. There's also indications why we shouldn't take a trade because we have news over here at 7 o'clock. It's currently 6:54 right now. News is going to happen in about 6 minutes. So this is very tricky. We're getting really close to news. I'm probably going to skip it because the last thing I want to do is get into the trade and then it goes sideways to like 7. And then as soon as 7 hits, it spikes up, right? So I'm probably going to sit out on this trade here. I'll follow it. I'll mark it up there. So if it does play out, you guys can see if it actually goes through, but nothing at the moment. Because we do have news coming right here at 7 o'clock. And it is high impact. I believe it's ISM Services PMI. It is ISM Manufacturing PMI, actually, high impact inflation news. So we got ISM Manufacturing PMI, ISM Manufacturing Prices, construction spending. It's coming in about 4 minutes. So just keep that in mind. You're good, Natasha. If there's any questions that you have, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm here to help you guys out. So whatever you guys need help with, let me know. But at the moment, we're just going to wait for this news event to pass. So you can see how price is going sideways right here. It's going sideways because there's no telling what's going to happen next. What I'll go over here, I'll mark up So I'll mark a couple things. Opening price right there. This is our clean chart. So for this, I don't like to leave too many. Well, I don't like to leave any indicators on actually. I just keep this pretty clean. I'll mark up zones and stuff, but I'm not going to leave any indicators on. This is just to show you how market structure is currently looking like. So you guys can see that my indicators here help you identify market structure. So as you can see right here, price is just ranging back and forth, right? This is a clean chart. I like having multiple charts. I like having a clean chart here so that you guys can see how market structure is moving. I have my main chart here with all my indicators to identify certain entry points. And then we have our liquidity chart over here to identify liquidity. I like having them separate because they all look at different things. As you guys can see, closest area of liquidity is going to be right here. So price comes down and touches this area. I'm expecting it to blast right through. Yeah, it's basically where I see price going. Just thinking about maybe setting up a pending order here, but it's a little risky. Let's see. I'm not gonna mess with that. 3, 2, 6. See, let's put a. I'm gonna put a feeler trade right there just to see how this moves on news over here at 7 o'clock. Putting a feeler move right there to see. Let me see how far is it from that point. It's not that far. It's like if we get a spike to the downside, hits liquidity. But yeah, it definitely looks like a trap setting up right there. All right, some more profits from you guys over here. We have Dejan over here, total profit of 1,160 for the day, all wins. So Dejan over here locked a nice profit off that trade earlier. Great work right there, Dejan. We've got S over here, made his profit back, total profit of 189 off his first account, total profit of 890 on his second account. Nice work, Essa. So nice recovery right there. We have Zach over here, total profit of 3,055 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Zach. Yeah, so you guys are doing pretty good today. Based off my analysis, and we only had one official trade today. Everything is kind of just looks like people are trading based off my analysis. Let me see Sisuk over here if there's anything that he took. So let's see. Show you guys Sisuk's profits as well. All right, Sisuk over here locked in a total profit of 2,767 on his first account, all wins there. Here is his second account, total profit of 2,517 for the day, all wins as well. And here is Sisuk's third account, total profit of 2,267, all wins. So nice work right there, Sisuk. Here's a news candle right here. Looks pretty anticlimactic. It's not really doing too much right now. I mean, price is pushing up, but it's not really doing too much. We'll see if it holds or if it comes back down. I'm gonna go to market news price right there. So as you guys can see, I try to keep track of all of these news prices because typically if price pushes away from it, it's gonna go and retrace and retest that area. So like, as you guys can see how price is pushing away from this pink line? If price ends up correcting back down, eventually it's going to come back and retest that pink line. And that's the reason why I put it there. So let's see how this candle closes above here. So there's one of two things that will happen here. Price will either push up and retest this area, or it'll come back down and retest this area. Two different scenarios, right? See how the rejection is happening right there? If the rejection happens here and we get a reversal pattern like a V1 or V2 variation, price may come back down and retest this area. And then when price comes down to this area, that's structure that you can look for the break and retest and continuation to the downside. It's a basic pattern. This is how you can trade news or basically identify how price reacts to news. That's why I keep the news price marked up so you can see, okay, is price pushing up based off news or is it pushing down? Let's take a look at the news. So the news right now, ISM manufacturing. So ISM manufacturing PMI was neutral. ISM manufacturing prices was negative and construction spending was up. So with that said, pretty much a mixed bag. It's not necessarily in one direction or the other. And that's why price isn't doing anything here. It's just going back and forth. It's going back and forth, but eventually it's going to choose a direction. So that's the thing that you guys want to pay attention to. Make sure that you want to pay attention to how price is moving based off news here. So this is the news price. We'll see if price is supposed to be bullish based off news or if it's supposed to be bearish, because there can be a fake out in either direction. Let's see. Dejan said, I meant to say a thank you again, Sean, for going over the SR strat. I'm going to take it day by day to see if the market starts to change and give more entries for that strat, because I've seen on the live that market was just consolidating for the most part. Yeah, no problem, Dejan. So Dejan over here asked me during the last mentoring session if I can cover the SR rejection scalp strategy. It's one of these strategies that we use during the summer. It's a sideways type strategy. So if market is ranging or consolidating, that strategy is very useful to apply. So if you guys want to rewatch that strategy, just pull up our YouTube channel, go to the mentoring session from this week, and I covered it in detail. So if the market continues to go sideways, we're going to add that to one of our official strategies. I actually have my own chart here set up for just that strategy because the market was going sideways for the past couple weeks. As you guys can see, there's no zones up here right now. It's just going sideways. It's a brand new week, or technically a brand new week, so there's not really much to work off here. Next zone is going to be right there, but price is nowhere to be found. So as you guys can see, the liquidity here never got hit, which is perfectly fine. Liquidity never got hit, so if price does come back down eventually, you guys still understand that this is going to be the area where price will likely blast through from. And if you guys are not familiar with liquidity, basically the way that I identify liquidity is I look on the higher time frames and I look for areas where stop losses are sitting. So I go from like the daily to the 4 hours, or the daily to the 8 hours, to the 4 hours, to the 2 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute, and a 10-minute to identify where people are placing their stop losses. And I do this all by hand. I don't typically use any type of special program. I just identify where the swing highs and swing lows are. So that's typically where people place their stop losses. All right, price is pushing up super heavily. So I think what I might do here is I'm going to cancel my pending order. There you go. You guys heard the click. I just canceled my pending order. There's no need to hold on to something that is just too risky. One problem that a lot of people do is that they'll set a pending order and they'll forget about it. I've seen a lot of people where sometimes they'll have their pending order set up and then they get off the charts, they come back and then they have a big loss because they forgot to cancel their order. So just make sure that you guys cancel your orders if you guys don't plan on entering them. Let's see, Sam over here also mentioned, you guys can also check out the SR strategy in action last summer by looking back at the live sessions on YouTube. Yeah, thanks, Sam. So again, if you guys want to review that strategy, we typically apply during the summer. So what you can do here is I've pretty much recorded every live session for the past 3 to 5 years. If you want to see how I was trading last summer, so say, for example, it's June 1st today, right? June 1st, 2023. Just go back to June 1st, 2022, and you can see how the market was moving on that day and see what I was applying. Like you can just pull up the video here, June 1st, 2022. You pull that up right there. And you guys can literally see how I was trading the same specific day last year. So this is my zoom from And you guys will remember I used to have silver hair back then last summer. So yeah, if you guys go back over here and you guys see all the zones here and stuff, but you guys can even see I was applying the liquidity push here. So see the blue lines on the chart? This is the same strategy we were using today, liquidity push. So we were applying liquidity pushes for a long time now, guys. It's not like I just came up with the strategy today. I've been using the strategy for years and it works perfectly fine. So we got liquidity pushes here. And if you guys want to go through and see like other strategies that I was applying, just go back and watch any of these videos. I try to stay as transparent with you guys as possible. So you guys can see that these strategies still work. It's been a year, 2, 3 years later, and we're still applying the same strategy. I think that was a question from Hussein. Hussein asked that question earlier this week. He was asking if I'm consistently changing my strategies. And you guys can see from that video that I don't really change it very often. If anything, we make little changes to it, but they're not drastic changes where the strategy changes completely. They're just little changes to accommodate to the market conditions. So it's crazy because we haven't applied this liquidity push for a couple months. And I look back at June 2022 and we're applying the same strategy. So you guys can see how the market changes. Sometimes liquidity pushes work very well. Sometimes pivot scalps work very well. It just depends on the market. But we have a strategy for every type of market condition. So it doesn't really matter what the market does. We're always going to have some sort of opportunity to make profit. All right, there's nothing for us to take here, guys, still. I mean, going back to the clean chart, there's no higher highs or lower lows. The closest higher high is up here, the closest lower low is down here. There's no entries for us at the moment. And we are still looking to follow through with this here. Let's see, Hussein is asking, hi, Sean, I was focusing on mainly high-level momentum scalp strategy. However, I have found since you are taking liquidity push entries as well, should I learn it too, just to be on the same page? What do you suggest? For me personally, yeah, I think you could focus on those two strategies, Hussein, because they're totally different. I think that it'll be easier for you to pick up the liquidity push because it's just the first one on open. So if you want to do exactly what I'm doing, you can learn the liquidity push and just focus on the one on open. So basically the first entry on open for liquidity push. And then you can do what I'm doing. And then you lateral over to the high level momentum scalp. Because it's not too difficult. They're totally different strategies. So you shouldn't be mixing them up. And if you have two separate charts like I do here, see I have two different charts, you shouldn't be getting confused with it. So yeah, if you want to focus on those two strategies and do exactly what I'm doing on these live sessions, then yeah, you can learn the liquidity push. It's not that difficult. Again, we don't have any specific videos on liquidity push. It's not a very basic, it's not a beginner strategy. So I don't teach it to people. But if you watch the previous mentoring sessions for the past, let's see. So I've been covering the liquidity push for the past probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mentoring sessions. So if you watch the previous mentoring sessions, you can learn it from there, Hussein. But there's no specific video where I'm teaching it step by step. Or if you want to ask me some questions on it during the next mentoring session, we can go over examples. So yeah, there's no rules for it because I don't have any official strategy video. It's not a beginner strategy, but if you guys are taking it with me, you don't really need to know the rules because I'm pretty much explaining it to you guys. I mark up the zones for you guys and then you guys can see where it's at. And then if you guys have the indicators, like Hussein, he does have the indicators, he can mark up the liquidity zones himself. Yeah, no problem, Hussein. Yeah, watch the mentoring sessions and then just take some notes. And then for the next mentoring session, ask me some questions and I'll show you some examples. It's not really hard. It's actually pretty easy. I just don't like beginners applying it because people get greedy. Because there's a lot of liquidity pushes that you could have taken. Like for example, today there was 3 liquidity pushes. I only took one of them to be safe because it's just a crazy market. He's right there. All right, we got a new higher high right here that's starting to produce. As you guys can see, there's a new HH right there. If that's the case, I'm just going to adjust the zone. I wait for it to close though. Yeah, D said liquidity push discussion after April 18, the mentoring session. Thanks, D. Yeah, I think that one I went into detail. More of the earlier ones, I went into detail a lot with regard to the liquidity push. It's an easy strategy, but it's easy for people to get greedy applying it too. It's very lucrative if done properly, but a lot of shortcuts can be taken applying the liquidity push. All right, let me zoom out real quick. So as you guys can see, nearest area of liquidity is going to be up here from the top side. The nearest liquidity for the bottom side is going to be down here. So it's pretty far. If you measure the price difference, so like right here to the upside, it's 1,560 pips. From here to the downside, it's 1,560 pips too. Same thing. So it's right down the middle from either area. Yeah, price is pushing up. So check out where price went back to. Remember the blue line that I mentioned to you guys earlier today? I said if price was going to push back up, it was going to retest opening price. And that's exactly where price went, right? Price came down, retraced up, and went back to open right here. If you guys remember the Rick, not the Rick that's in the group now, but the other Rick, he used to apply the strategy called back to open. And that's what it was. Price went back to open right there. Yeah, so that's why I draw these lines on the chart, guys. Like this blue lines is there for a reason. Because typically if price gets pushed away super far, if it retests, it's going to go back to that area, which is the blue line. So now we're back in the middle. Now that we're back in the middle, we can anticipate whether price is going to continue up or whether it's going to come back down. So now that price is right back to where it was on open, it's like price didn't do anything. This is like all random movement, and then price is now back to where it was on open. So this is where price was at 6:30 on New York Stock Exchange open. We'll see if price continues up for the correction or if it comes back down. And it's the same pattern. That's why I draw the opening price there, because this happens very often where price just goes back to wherever the open price is. Edwin is asking, is there liquidity on every higher time frame? Yes, there is liquidity on every time frame, Edwin. The higher the time frame, the stronger liquidity. Because if you're on the higher time frame, that's typically where intraday traders and swing traders will be placing their stop losses, right? I'll go to the liquidity chart and I'll remark everything up for you so that you can see from the start. And I'll try to like show you exactly like, you know, I'll mark up which liquidity are there so that you can see the difference. There's not really much going on right now in the chart, so it's okay. We're not really missing out on anything. And I think it's a good refresher for you guys too to see. William is asking, was that just a high-low scalp? Let me check. So the bias right now is bearish, William. So I don't think there'd be a high-low scalp here for a buy if you're looking for a buy here. So yes, this here is a high-low scalp setup, but I think the bias today is bearish, isn't it? So let me check real quick. Yeah, for the most part, it's bearish still. Let me check fundamentals real quick. Well, I mean, they kind of shifted. So the fundamentals over here, they're no longer below 100 points. So this is pretty much neutral at the moment. Sentiment over here is still bearish. And the technicals over here are pretty much neutral bearish. So right now, there's not necessarily any bias overall. So there wouldn't be a high-low scalp, but that setup there is a setup for a high-low scalp, like the break and close past structure. That is, you did identify that correctly. Um, William. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, William said he made flashcards last night and got excited when he saw that. Yeah, the setup is cool because you can see it. The overall bias wasn't an original criteria, William, but I added that criteria to increase our win rate, right? Some people still apply the original way. So if you're applying the original high-low scalp, this would have been fine. But since we incorporated the overall bias, you wouldn't have taken this one here specifically. These trades do come up very often, but a lot of times you'll get caught in a fake out. So that's why I added that requirement so that we'll have higher quality trades. But the strategy still works fine, even if you did it by itself. It's just not one that I would personally take because the high-low scalp is kind of similar to the liquidity push. It's very lucrative if done properly, but if you skip steps like a lot of times, you're gonna get lucky every so often, but eventually it's gonna burn you. Because we used to apply it that way before in the past. Like that, as soon as you said Dow was making a recovery, it came right back down. Yeah, no, it was making a recovery, and now it looks like it's correcting back down right here. I forgot who was in the group. There used to be this guy in the group, and he would try to call everything. But whenever he called something, it did the complete opposite. Do you remember who that was, Sisu? A lot of you older members will probably remember who that was. There was a guy in the group, and he would always say, like it was funny because he would try to go against us. We would say that overall bearish is bias, or the overall bias is bearish, and the guy would say, "Oh, price is going to go up right here." And as soon as he said price was going to go up, price would do the complete opposite, and it would correct right back down. So that's why I always stick to the bias, guys. So again, William, this is another reason why I stick to the bias, because if you stick to the bias, price is likely to correct back in that area. And look where price is going. It's going right back down. So yeah, exactly. D said I would just use him as an indicator. No, I would. So like back during COVID, we had like an influx of a lot of new members from different groups. So it was funny because they would tell us what their other groups were doing. Like if they were buying, we would do the opposite and sell because they would just lose every trade. So like we would just basically look for groups that like sucked at trading, and we would just do the opposite of them. So if they're like calling signals for a buy, we would take entries for a sell. Or if they would call signals for a sell, we would just do opposite and buy. That was before I came up with retail sentiment. Like I didn't know about this before. Now that I know about this, we just use this. But back then we used to like look for like trading groups that really suck at trading, and we would just do the opposite of them. So if they like lost a lot of trades, if they were calling buys, we would just do sells. If they called sells, we would do buys. Yeah, COVID was like it was a funny time because we did a lot of I wouldn't say random, but we did a lot of contrarian stuff. Like before we had a retail sentiment, that's like the main way that we would identify opposite trades. We would just look at trading groups that weren't very successful, and we would just do the opposite of them. Or like Steven, you guys remember Steven in the group. Steven would literally say something, we're like, okay, we're gonna do the opposite of him. And it would work, which is crazy. I told Steven to just do the opposite of what he was doing, and he would win trades. And he started doing it, he would actually win. Let's see. Barty said comparing VIX to US30 is saucy. Sean, hope you see once you're free. Yeah, no, I haven't traded VIX before, but I do see how it moves. It usually does the opposite, right? So like, let me take a look at they're kind of moving directional today, but usually the VIX is opposite. So like if the Dow is currently up, then the VIX will be down. And if Dow is up, then the VIX will be going opposite direction. But right now they're both kind of down right now. The VIX isn't down that much though. It's only down 1 point. Dejan says Steven's still here. So Steven might be like lurking around, but he doesn't really pop into the chat anymore. Dejan, he's still here because he just messaged me yesterday asking me about a crypto broker. So he's he's still here, but he's not necessarily active because I think he works a day job now. He's just saving money to buy another account, of course, but he's working like a regular job during the day. So I think he's here on the chat, but he's not communicating with us. Like he's not like how he used to be in the chat. Because he used to mess around in the chat like all the time. But I know he's still around because he just messaged me like 2 days ago, asking me about a crypto broker. So he's not here actively, but he is here. He's around. Yeah, no, he's still trading. He likes trading. That's the thing with trading, guys. If you guys really like trading, eventually you guys will figure out how to make it work. It just takes time. You have to learn how to follow. Like I think the problem with Steven was following directions. He could follow directions for a whole month, and then he would change his thing up, and then he would blow his account. But I mean, eventually he'll probably come to his senses. All right, anyways, we have a V1 variation that's setting up right here, but I think overall bias is still bearish, so I wouldn't necessarily take it. Yeah, I wouldn't take it. It's bearish right here on the higher time frames, and it's bearish here on the lower time frames. Let's see, FFS said he's here in spirit. Yeah, no, Steven's still around. I don't think Steven will ever like completely leave the group because he likes hanging out with us here. But he's just not, he has different priorities right now. Like I think he has like an office job or something, so he can't really like mess around. He just like kind of has it in the background. Yeah, Dejan said it's taking him some time as well, but he doesn't see himself ever giving up. Yeah, I mean, my advice is if you guys really like trading, like don't ever give up. Because like for me, I've been trading for like over 10 years now, on and off. 6 years like consistently, but 10 years on and off. And I'm glad I never quit because once I got to like that fourth, fifth year, I started to really take my stride. And that's when I started to make a lot of profits from trading. It just clicks eventually. Let me scroll up real quick. Hussein's asking 1 minute high level momentum scalp in place. Oh yeah, my bad, Hussein. I didn't even see that there. Did you take it, Hussein? Sorry guys, I was distracted. I didn't even see the entry right here. There was an entry for a high level momentum scalp right here that came up. I was waiting for it to come back down, but I didn't see that sell signal actually close. But yeah, Hussein, you properly identified that. There was a higher high right here. There's a sell signal that broke and closed past pivots 1 and 2. And that would have been your entry there for a high level momentum scalp. The candle was a little big, but I mean, you still could have taken it and it would have hit full TP right there. So like for me, actually, I would have taken the trade. If I saw it properly, I would have taken it. The reason why I would have taken it as well is because the overall bias is still bearish. Unfortunately, I missed out on the trade, but it's okay. Gotcha. Yeah, Hussein said I didn't take it, but I was monitoring it and it did hit TP. Yes, you monitored it and you found it completely. So like I mentioned before, Hussein, the overall bias is not necessary, but you can see how it's useful, right? Because the bias right now is still bearish. So if you look over here, everything's bearish, right? 1 minute it's kind of neutral, 5 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish, higher time frames are also bearish. The fundamentals here aren't very strong, but they are still somewhat bearish. They're down 77 points. Retail sentiment over here is very strong for a sell, still at 61% long. So if you use that to confirm the overall bias, this here would still be a good trade, even though the short-term time frame was bullish. So yeah, it does help when you have a bias, and nice work, Hussein, on identifying that. So sorry guys, that was my fault. I totally missed it. We were busy talking about other stuff that I didn't see this here, but it was a valid entry there, right? High level momentum scalp. Let me see. Let me scroll up real quick. CJ said my feelings got hurt when Steven got his funded and blew it, but I'm glad he's doing well. Yeah, no, same here. I was really shocked that that happened, but I mean, it is what it is. Dejan said he caught it, but slippage caught him as well. Yeah, so Dejan actually caught the sell there, but it looks like slippage kind of ate him up. So it looks like he made lesser profits. Here's some more profits from Essa. Essa locked in 370 on his first account and then locked in 2,800 on his second account. Nice work, Essa. You guys are doing pretty good today. Looking at everyone's profits, you guys are killing it. Dejan over here locked in 710 off that high level momentum scalp. Total profit of 1,870 for the day so far. All wins. Nice work, Dejan. Delete these over here. We got Deswell over here. Let me just delete this real quick. Hey, these scammers in the group. Deswell over here locked in a total profit of, we killed it, 10,421 for the day. He took those sells right there for the liquidity push on open, full TPs, and then he took a couple buys for our price push on its way up. So total profit of 10,421 for the day on Deswell's account, all wins. So nice work right there, Deswell. And here goes Andrew. You say you feel it was trying to push up back to open price. It's done for the day. See you in the morning. Thanks again. Definitely, Andrew. So Andrew over here locked in a total profit of 2,079 for the day. Basically all wins. This was a tester trade, so that's not necessarily an actual trade. It was just testing his hotel Wi-Fi. But yeah, all wins over here from Andrew. Nice. All right, so that's about it for right now, guys. Looks like there's not really much going on. Price is back to its range, which is not really a big surprise. I was kind of expecting this to happen as we get closer to news again over here. We have another news event here at 7:30. As you can see, price is going sideways before we get to that news event. Let me check the news event for today. 7:30 news. It's not on Forex Factory. It's on my FX book. It's just gas news. So natural gas stock change, heating oil stock change, refinery crude runs change, crude oil stocks change, distillate stocks change. Basically all the gas stocks, they're having their news event over here, or just natural gas first, having it right here at 7:30, and then more news over here at 8 o'clock. So we'll see where this ends up going. I mean, price is kind of just going back and forth right now. There's no specific direction. Essa said, same, I'm done for today. See you tomorrow. Definitely, Essa, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Nice recovery in your account and great profits to close out the day for Essa over here. Essa was like down a little bit, negative 140. He's now up 2,800 on that account. So great work right there, Essa. We've got Patricia over here. Here's her first account, total profit of 3,668 for the day, all wins. Nice work right there, Patricia. And then her second account over here, same thing. She locked in a total profit of 3,668 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Patricia. All right, we got Delicia over here, total profit of 696 for the day, all wins. Nice work right there, Delicia. Yeah, Delicia said she said took some of the buys after rejecting off the pink zone. Thanks, Sean, definitely. So she took the rejection off here, off the she basically saw the double bottom here that I drew up. I didn't identify it as a double bottom, but you guys can see I drew the zone down here. Delicia saw the double bottom rejection off this point, and then she rode that to the upside. So as you guys can see, just sitting in on these live sessions, you don't necessarily need to apply my strategies. You guys can just use my markups to identify direction of price and entry points. And yeah, Delicia killed it. Total profit of 696. Here's Barty over here as well. So Barty locked in a total profit of 632 for the day, all wins. Nice work right here, Barty. I can see a timestamps here. It looks like you took a liquidity push with us, some more the second liquidity push as well. Took the buy back to open and another buy right here. Nice. Great work, Barty. All right, you guys are doing great. Looks like a lot of you guys here are doing good. Whether you guys are here on the Zoom or whether you guys are on the YouTube, looks like everybody here is profiting no matter what. So glad to see a lot of you guys here profiting off my analysis. My main goal here is to make sure everyone here is profitable, whether you guys are a member or not. I don't really care. Like if you guys are a member or not, I'll help you guys out. I'm not like one of those traders that only helps like people in this community. Like I don't really care, because helping you guys out actually helps me out. When you guys ask me questions and I have like my analysis here, it helps me identify market structure and it helps me see things that I don't normally see. So I'm glad that you guys are profiting off the analysis here. That's crazy. I've been trading live with you guys for I think about like well over 3 years now, 3 to 5 years. And these live sessions have been helping me just as much as they help you guys out. Because it forces me to analyze the charts. Before, when I wasn't trading live, I would just kind of sit around and not really analyze the charts like detailed like I'm doing now. Like before, I never had all these zones on the chart, but now that I trade live with you guys, these zones have been like game changer for not just for you guys, but for me as well. Because I'm like consistently updating my chart. I'm sure you guys have noticed that before. If you guys trade by yourself, like solo, you guys aren't like actively on the chart. But since we're here on these live sessions, I'm kind of forced to update the charts because if I don't, we're not going to know what's going on. Let's see. FFS is asking, is anyone here that's been here since you started streaming? There's people here who have been around since before I started streaming. There's people who've been around for like 7 years now. Like Sisuk's probably one of the first members here in the group. He's still here every day. He's actually one of the mentors now. Who else is here? Camo's here too. Camo's here before I even started anything. Like when I first started the free group, it wasn't even a community, it was just like a little group. Who else is here? There's a lot of people here. Donovan too. Donovan's been here for a while, since like, pre-COVID. Karen's been here too for a long time. Kenny as well. Yeah, there's a lot of people here at FFS. There's people here who've been here for Patricia too. Patricia's been here from the very beginning. CERN, everybody. Yeah, Sam too. Sam's been here for a long time. So yeah, there's like maybe like 5, 10, 20 people here that have been around since before I even started trading live. And we've been going strong. I mean, we've been making a lot of profits. You guys can see Patricia here. So Patricia just sent in her profits. See, Patricia's been part of the group for like what, over 5 years now. Total profit of 3,000 for the day. We have Sisuk over here as well. Deswell too. Deswell here locked in 10,000. He's been here from the beginning. Dejan here has been here from the beginning. He's up 2,000. Sisuk here has been here from the beginning, 2,000 for the day. So a lot of people here that you see post daily profits, like that are consistent every day, they've been here from the very beginning. And it's crazy. It is crazy because like time flies. All right, so I marked up liquidity here, guys. I mean, it's still pretty far from where price is currently at. I don't think price is going to touch any of these areas. So I'm just going to leave this chart alone. We'll just stick with the main chart here. We have a higher high right there. Price already broken close past the pivots 1 and 2. So there's no high level momentum scalp available right here. And Pablo too. Yeah, no, Pablo over here too. Pablo's been here since, he's been here since Aaron was around. I actually saw Aaron the other day. If you guys remembered Aaron, coughing Aaron, I saw him this weekend. It's crazy. It's crazy seeing like people that you kind of like grew up in trading with. Yeah, coughing Aaron, COVID-19 Aaron. He's still on here sometimes too. If you guys remembered, Aaron is like one of the guys that helped me start the group a long time ago. He kind of split off and did his own thing, but now he's just trading solo. He pops in here every once in a while, but yeah, I'm gonna try to get him back on here. Sorry, said stalker. Sam is asking, are the mentors mentoring at the moment? The only person that I know who's kind of mentoring, I guess, would be Sisu, right, Sisu? But Sisu, as you guys know, Sisuk's pretty intense when it comes to mentoring. So it's not for the faint of heart. If you guys are okay with getting criticized with your trading and stuff, Sisuk will mentor you. But it's not going to be a walk in the park. Maddie's on vacation right now in Hawaii, so he's not even here right now. Typically he brings his laptop, but he didn't bring it this time. Kip's kind of busy at the moment as well, and CT is busy as well. So I think the only person that is kind of available would be Sisu. Actually, sorry, Sisu said he has several mentees already, so he's kind of busy. So unfortunately, nobody's really looking to mentor right now, guys. I'll let you know if anything opens up. But yeah, I don't really mentor anymore one-on-one. I like mentoring the group, but not necessarily one-on-one anymore. Aiden said, I think news at 11 is restricted on the FTMO. Let's see, what's the news at 11 o'clock? I'm assuming 11 Eastern, right? Aiden, I forget where you guys are located. You and Nelly. Let's see, 11 o'clock. Let me check the calendar. Ohio. I'm not sure what news. I think that news event would have been the ISM at 7. So maybe the time difference. I don't know. I can't really tell. But looking at the calendar here, I'll check FTMO myself. Crude oil. Okay, thanks, Nelly. Yeah. So yeah, the news at 8 o'clock is restricted. I think it's only for. I don't know if it's for US30. It might just be for US pairs or Forex pairs. Let me check real quick. I mean, it's good to know. So thanks for the heads up, guys. Yes, so it is restricted. So I would just avoid it. It's restricted only for like oil, if you're trading oil, but I would just avoid it in general. If you guys remember in the past, we tried to we tried to trade during oil and then it just spiked and it stopped us out. So it doesn't always happen where it spikes price, but it's happened to us once where we took in a trade and we thought, okay, it's low impact oil news, and it ended up spiking. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, so Sam, Sisu said you might have one spot opening. He said he has one person that, yeah, he has one person that's not really taking the mentorship seriously. So I don't know if you want to get in touch with Sisu, you could. He's going to give you a whole interview process though, so just keep that in mind. He's going to ask you a bunch of questions. Yeah, no, definitely. If you guys want to reach out to Sisu, feel free. And just keep in mind, Sisu does this like free of charge. So bear with Sisu, and at least like respect his time. If you guys are gonna get mentored by Sisu, he doesn't charge for any of this stuff. He literally gives you everything he knows. But all he asks is that you guys take it seriously. That's like one of the reasons I don't like mentoring anymore, because every time I mentor somebody, you'll get good people and you get some people that just don't care. And it's like, man, such a waste of time. William said with Sisu, is it online or in person? It's online. I mean, if you want to meet him in person, if you're in Boston, Sisu will meet with you, but odds are you're probably not in Boston. So Hussein said mentorship is for beginner traders. I mean, it's for everybody, Hussein. But Sisu is very selective. So like, just because you guys hit up Sisu doesn't mean he's going to mentor you. So just make sure that you guys keep that in mind. He does it free of charge. So like, if he likes you and you guys click, then he'll help you out. But I can't say it's going to work for everybody, because Sisu gets pretty intense. Like he'll like literally throw the book at you. So just keep that in mind. I'm free to mentor, but I only mentor during the mentoring sessions. So if you guys want to be mentored by me, just make sure that you guys attend the mentoring sessions. It'll also help to have the indicators and stuff, but I'll help you guys out regardless. I like helping people out because it's beneficial for both of us. Let's see, Barty said if you listen to Sean and only took his trades, which he posts in the group, you'll be amazed. Plus, in 12 months, you can make over 300K using 100 lot. Yeah, no, exactly, Barty. If you use proper risk management, you guys are just consistent and disciplined, you guys should have no problem being profitable. I feel like the problem with most people is that they're not consistent and they're not disciplined. But it comes with time. All right, guys, there's no entries for us right now. It's 7:40. It's about 20 minutes till 8. I'm still looking for entries here, but if I don't see anything, obviously I'm not going to force anything here. Going back to the chart over here for liquidity, price is very far from both areas of liquidity. So there's nothing for us to look at here. I forgot who asked the question earlier, but I will show you guys how I mark up liquidity, okay? So let me just turn off the indicators that are relevant. All right, so when I mark up liquidity, and I'll show you guys an example of how I do it. I start off on the daily time frame and I go from the top down analysis. So first of all, I go up over here and then I turn on my high-low indicator. You guys can do this by hand, but it's going to be very difficult for you guys to properly identify where the proper high lows are, right? So if you turn on my high-low indicator right here, it does all the work for you. You have all the high lows that are marked up right here. And what I do here is I go and I mark up all of the untested high lows. You don't necessarily have to mark up all of them, but I like to mark them up for visualization purposes because you guys can see where a lot of these areas are sitting that have not been tested. I mark these up as liquidity because people who are trading on the daily time frame, this is typically where they place their stop losses, right? So say, for example, right here, price is in a downtrend, right? See how price is in a downtrend right here? If someone's entering a sell position here, and I'm sure you guys have learned this somewhere else too, when someone places their a sell position there, they place their stop loss at the previous swing, right? Which is right here. Swing high. And then they place their TP like way down here, right? They go for like a 3-to-1, 1-to-3 or 1-to-whatever. So you typically see people place orders like this, right? So where did I mark up liquidity? I marked up liquidity in that same exact area, right? Because this is where I'm expecting people's stop losses to be sitting. So that's how I marked up liquidity there, because if price does swing up, it's going to stop them out. And then when it stops them out right here, it's going to go on a stop loss hunt to hit the next stop losses up here, right? So that's how I mark up liquidity, right? This indicator makes a huge difference because if you don't have my indicators, it's going to be hard for you to identify these points, right? Because if you don't have any of my indicators, this is what your chart would look like. And you're not going to know where liquidity is sitting. But you turn on my indicators here, you know exactly where liquidity is sitting. So you don't have to guess or anything like that. So I pretty much just made it very easy for you guys to identify where people's stop losses are sitting. So I start off with a daily right there. I'll just type up right here, daily. I'll say daily leg. It's just easier that way. D's asking, Sean, what's the definition of untested? Untested means that the price has not been tested before. So like it's like in literal sense. So say, for example, see how price is over here, and these areas have not been tested. They haven't been touched. So they've never been touched before. This here is untested. See how this one right here, there's a level, but it's been touched right here. Like if you put a line right there, you can see it's touched. That's been tested already, right? So at that point, it's no longer untested. You don't really care about these because if they've been tested, this is obviously not a liquidity area, right? Because if it was a real liquidity area, this thing would have blasted through, and it didn't. So that is what we consider untested. So once you have that marked up right there, you go down, I go down to the 8-hour time frame, and then I do the same thing. I mark up that right there. That right there. And again, you don't have to mark up all these levels. I just like marking them up because you can see exactly when and where these areas are sitting. So I'll do like this for your 8-hour click. And then you just go lower, go down to the 4-hour, same thing. At this point, the other ones don't really matter too much because you're just looking for the closest liquidity, right? I mean, you can mark it up, like for example, you're at the 4-hour, there's probably more levels here, but I'm not going to mark them up because they're just irrelevant to me specifically. Here's the 2-hour. This is the closest. I'm just going to mark what the closest is. Go down to the 1 hour. I forgot who asked this in the group, but here's the example of like how we mark up liquidity here. So of course you want to focus on whatever the highest level is, or whatever the highest time frame of liquidity is, because it's going to be stronger. 30-minute. $15-minute, 10-minute, and now you go down to the 1 minute. So now that we have all this marked up right here, you guys have a good idea what liquidity is important, right? So this liquidity right here is from the 2 hour. So if price pushes up over here, you're anticipating these 2 hour stop losses to get hit. And then if you go down here, this is even stronger, because if price hits down here, this is the 8 hour liquidity. So this is liquidity marked up from the 8 hour time frame, and this is liquidity marked up on the 2 hour time frame. So you guys see the difference there? Obviously, if price came down here, that's why I was so okay to put a sell there, because I was like, okay, if price comes down and hits this area, this thing's gonna blast through, because these are like where the 8 hour liquidity is sitting. So it helps. All right. Anyways, we have nothing else right here right now. We have a new higher high. I'll mark this up. No other entries here at the moment. Here is the clean chart. Yeah, not too much going on right here. Price pretty much dropped, corrected back up, coming back down. If price comes back down, target price point is going to be opening price. Same as before. Hussein's asking, hi Sean, do you scroll back on the chart or just mark the zones, whichever are in front of you? Also, do you make up your mind to go long or short? No, so I don't ever scroll back on the chart. What I do is I just zoom out. So because you can only see so many levels on here, right? So like, for example, if I'm on the daily time frame, I click the zoom out button and you can see all the levels here already. Like, it doesn't matter if you scroll back, it doesn't make a difference. The reason for this is because you guys can see the zone right here is from April 2022. This is over a year ago. So if you have zones like farther back, I don't think someone's going to be holding a trade from like December 2021, right? With a stop loss still at the same place. They're going to move their stop loss in profit at that point. So you don't really have to go back that far, Hussein. Because like, for example, if you were trading and it was like December 2021, I think in 2 years, you would at least move your stop loss in profit or take some profit from that. Your stop loss is not going to be sitting there anymore, right? Unless you're like a crazy monthly trader and you're holding this for like years. Which is probably not the case, especially not during this market. You know, we're not really in a swing market anymore. We're more so in a scalping market, intraday market. So I don't really go back that far. The farthest I go right here, this is April 2022. This is already over a year and like 2 months. So that's as far as I'll go. And then for your second part of your question, you're asking, how do you make up your mind to go long or short? That goes back to the question that we discussed earlier, right? Overall bias. If the bias is bearish, then I'm going to look for some sells or buys. Or, you know, if the bias is overall bearish, I'm going to look for some sells. If the bias is overall bullish, then I'll look for some buys. But in some instances, like if there's a news event or something, then I don't really look at the bias because the movement's going to be based off the news. So like, for example, this morning, the news was negative, right? So from this morning over here at 5:30, it was all negative. So that initial push to the downside, given that our bias was bearish already, the news here was very negative. So you could have just taken the sell even if the bias is bullish, because price probably would have followed through. Let's see, other question from Hussein. He's asking, so you decide bias pre-market like 5/10 prior to market open? Yes, exactly. So exactly what I do every morning, Hussein. So the same process I do every morning is the same every day. So I wake up, mark up liquidity for you guys, look at bias. I don't really care. Like a lot of people like to look at bias from like the previous day. I don't really care what happens then because we're scalping. So what matters is what's happening right now. So yeah, right before market open, 5-10 minutes, I look at the bias, and then from there, we look for our entry, because our entry will typically happen, within the first 5 minutes of open. So that's basically how I identify this stuff. It's pretty simple. I mean, I think the best way to do this is to keep it simple. A lot of people like to overcomplicate trading, but realistically, it's just keep it as simple as possible, but make sure that it actually works. All right, there's no entries here right now. No problem, Hussein. Glad I could help you with that. All right, guys, it's 7:51 right now. It's getting close to 8 o'clock. I don't think we're going to have any more entries right now. As we discussed earlier, there's a high impact news coming up over here at 8 o'clock. So probably best to stay away from the market. I think the Fed might be speaking today as well. Yeah, we have Fed member Harker speaking over here at 10 o'clock. So something to be careful for. Crude oil inventories at 8 o'clock. And I think that might be it for the news today. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I think this is about it. We should just wrap it up. We have about 8 minutes till 8. As you guys know, I don't like trading after 8. If you guys ever traded after 8, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have eaten losses around this time here. So in order to conserve your capital for tomorrow, I would probably just call it a day. It seems like a lot of you guys here are locking a lot of profit anyways. So there's no need to force any trades. We've got Andy over here, total profit of 205 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Andy. Andy killed it right there. And thanks, Andrew. So Andrew also posted this right here. He said the trading day objective is now 10 to 4, and then it's also on sale for 10%. Thanks, Andrew. So if you guys have been on the fence for getting an FTMO account, they've reduced the minimum trading days to 4 days, and they also are providing a 10% discount today. So it's up to you guys if you guys want to get that, but if not, it's fine. If you guys are not ready, or here's the cool thing too, if you guys buy your challenge, you don't have to use it until you want to use it. So you can buy it now and then use it like in a couple of weeks or by next month. You can just hold on to it. But yeah, all right, guys, it's getting close to 8 o'clock. So if there's was there a stopped out trade for high level momentum? 648. Let's see. Yeah, this right here looks like it wouldn't have played out. Let me go back real quick. Was there news around that time? I can't remember if there was news around that time. I know we typically don't use news as a reason to avoid trades, but yeah, I don't think there was news. Yeah, so that one right there just didn't play out. 748. Let me measure it real quick. I think the candle might have been too big though. Yeah, the candle was way too big, Hussein. Oh, it was for sure way too big. So I wouldn't have taken that there, even if it came up. Look at the how big the candle is, Hussein. It's past the stop loss. So if you guys are ever looking to see if the candle is too big, this is too big. If the candle is bigger than the stop loss, then this is like a huge reason to avoid the trade. Because whenever you have a big trade, like a big candle like this is typically what happens. Price will have to retrace up. And then if it retraces up to the candle, which is up here, it's probably going to stop you out. So yeah, I wouldn't have taken that trade even if it came up. You're seeing the candle is just way too big. So that's, pretty much why I wouldn't have taken it. Let's see. Hussein said the previous candle at 716. You see, I don't think this one was as big. So let's go back over here, Hussein. Let me just measure it for you again real quick. So see here, Hussein, see the difference, Hussein? The stop loss is bigger than the candle. So this one's okay. This one over here, though, it's way too big. See how the candle is bigger than the stop loss? So the 718 one over here is fine. This is okay to take. This one over here for sure wouldn't have taken. It looks like the same size, but this one's way bigger. This candle is let me measure it. This candle is 460 pips versus this one, which is like half that. Hussein's asking, okay, so if the candle is bigger than the stop loss, then better to skip it. Yes, that's correct. That applies to pretty much every type of entry. Like for example, even the liquidity pushes, if the candle for liquidity is too big, I typically don't take it because it's due for retracement. So yeah, you just keep that as it's like a common rule that like everybody kind of knows. That's why I don't explain it. But if the candle's too big, usually skip it, because if it's too big like this, it has to retrace. Like same with this candle right here. I know there's no entry here, but looking at this green candle right here, Hussein, see how big this candle is? When you get a big candle like that, it's typically going to retrace to the full size of the candle. And if you look over here, that's exactly what happens, right? Again, right here, big candle, it's typically going to retrace to the size of the candle. We actually had a strategy that we based off this before, but I don't really use it anymore. See where it went. So it's just it's a common like pattern that happens with trading. I don't necessarily teach it, but if you ever want to practice it, just look at these big candles like this, Hussein, and see how this is a big candle. It retraces back to the size of the candle. It's just a retracement. I mean, but it's common. So just keep that in mind in the future. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. You guys can also email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades, or message me on Telegram. I'm faster to reach on Telegram, so if you guys want to reach out to me on there, feel free to message me or anything like that. Otherwise, if you guys are brand new here and you guys want access to these indicators and these strategies that I showed you guys today, just go to our website, KodiKaiTrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here. This will give you access to the course. This is what the course looks like. And all the strategies that we covered today are pretty much covered on here. So if you want to look at that strategy that Hussein is learning right now, the high-low momentum scalp strategy, it's in module 4, main strategies. That'll be the first one right here. If you guys want to look at the high-low scalp that William was asking about earlier, you just go down to the scalping strategies, and it's going to be the first strategy right here, high-low scalp. If you want to look at the pivot scalp, variation V1, etc., snipe strategy, SR rejection strategy, it's right here as well. This is the one that Dijon was talking about. This is a summer strategy here, in case you trade SR rejection scalp, and that's also available right here. So it's all pretty much available for free to you guys. I'm not really in the I'm not looking to really mentor anybody. So like you guys are available, you guys can learn my strategies, but I don't necessarily hold one-on-one mentorships anymore. Also, if you guys are not on the YouTube already, pull up the YouTube channel, youtube.com/KodiKaiTrades. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. This will give you emails whenever I go live. I go live pretty much every day during the week, and then twice a day on certain weeks, or twice a day, once a week for the mentoring sessions. So I do mentoring sessions once a week, completely free, and then I live trade every day, Monday through Friday. But yeah, so I think that's about it, guys. All right, if there's any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow.